Hello everyone, welcome to Around the World. Today we will discover the Scandinavian countries. Let's go! The Danes, like the Dutch, are very clever farmers. Their farms are small in area, but they take great care of the soil. The result is that they produce more wheat from each acre than the farmers of any other country. Their chief crops are oats, barley, clover and hay. They produce their crops mainly as feed for their cattle, for they are a nation of dairy farmers. The Danish farmer sells his milk to factories which manufacture it into butter and cheese. It is these dairy products which are the country's main exports. Besides the cattle, which graze in small fields of special grass, the farmer also keeps pigs. He feeds the pigs on skimmed milk and sells them to factories which produce bacon from them. He also finds space on his farm for poultry, which he keeps either to sell for the table or as producers of eggs. Denmark has only one large city, Copenhagen, the capital and chief seaport, which stands on the east coast of the island of Zealand. People living on the mainland can visit their capital by rail, crossing the strait to the island by train or ferry. Denmark is a small and low-lying country, while Norway is a long, narrow, very mountainous and over 7 times as large. As the map shows, Norway's coastline is very broken, with many long narrow inlets known as fjords. Every summer, steamers bring holidaymakers to the fjords to enjoy the wonderful scenery, the calm deep waters, the steep slopes with tumbling waterfalls and the snow-capped mountains in the distance. Here and there along the edge of the fjord is a small flat area where a tiny village may be built. The farmers produce oats and hay as winter feed for their dairy cattle. They drive their cattle to the mountain pastures for the summer. Tens of thousands of Norwegians regularly leave their rocky coast for the fisheries, bringing back huge catches of cod, herring and other fish. Many of the fish are canned in Norwegian factories. Other Norwegians travel while whaling expeditions to the Antarctic, and others serve as sailors on Norwegian merchant ships. Throughout history, the Norwegians have always been a seafaring nation. The ancestors were the Vikings a long time ago. Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, stands at the entrance of Lake Mälhur from the sea. The city was built on both shores and a number of islands and has now been called the Venice of the North. Like Oslo, the capital of Norway, it is also a seaport, but because of its situation, it has one great drawback. For several weeks during the winter the sea is frozen, and so its harbour cannot be used. Thus Göteborg, which is also ice-free, is Sweden's chief port. The country's main farming area is in the south, where the soil is more fertile and the climate is milder than anywhere else. Swedish farmers are able to export some of their dairy produce. North of Stockholm, there is a vast area of forests, where many farmers work as lumbermen during the coldest part of the year. They fell the trees during the autumn and winter and pile up the logs beside the frozen rivers. Then, the spring-fall, they float the logs down to the sawmills. In the summer, these men work on their farms. In the north is the region known as Lapland, which stretches into northern Norway, Finland and Russia. Lapland is the home of the Lapps. Many of the Lapps still live and wander, as they done for centuries, with their reindeers. A wealthy Lapp will own a herd of several hundred reindeer. He trains them to pull his sledge and carry his goods, and they provide him with milk and meat, and with skins for clothing and bedding. The Lapps wear a very sensible costume for their cold climate, and decorated with beautiful trimmings of red, yellow and blue. The forests are even more important to Finland than they are to Sweden. Finland, in fact, is a land of forests and lakes. In the southern half of the country, there are thousands and thousands of lakes, which are very useful for transporting the timber from the forests to the sawmills. The Finns manufacture wood pulp and paper, and these products with timber are their chief exports. Around Helsinki, the capital and chief seaport, the sea is frozen for nearly 4 months. But a channel to their harbour is kept open by the means of icebreakers. We've reached the end of the Scandinavian countries video. Please give a like and comment on the video, then subscribe to my channel to find future videos. See you soon!